Good morning, guys. I am J0k, and today I'm gonna show you a game of Faeria, and with me I have Atmaz.
Hello, everybody.
Is that how you pronounce your name? Atmaz?
Yep, Atmaz, however you want to say it.
Atmaz, perfect. Alright, so Atmaz, you're a community manager for the Faeria team, correct?
That's correct.
So I feel all special now to have you join me. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, when you told me about the match, I I wanted to give it a look because we didn't get to watch it on stream, so it'll be pretty special.
Yeah, so basically what I did is I told Atmaz, alright, so I have this really cool deck and I'm gonna run it in the qualifiers. And I actually managed to take a game of MrCubez, who is the team captain of one of the strongest teams out there. So I was really excited about that. The other two games were really like one-sided, so I don't even bother showing you those. But this game was really fun, so I wanna take a look at that together.
So is this game one or game two
This
in the
is
tournament?
game two. I
Okay,
I lost the first game with my Smork Yellow Rush deck, so I
okay.
at this point I knew what he was what he was running.
And what was he running?
He is running a red control burn type, not red aggro like we saw
Okay,
some other people run, like Nightingale, but a
okay,
little bit more control type of deck.
gotcha.
So the fact that this game was against MrCubez just made it feel extra good. So here we already seen my starting hand. I got an Imperial
Uh,
Engineer.
okay, so the engineer triggers all production effects, right?
Yes.
What production effects do you have in deck?
Well, you're gonna see here right after this mulligan, we get a Beirut, which is of course the best production effect
Oh,
in my deck.
okay,
I also run Magda, and I run
oh my goodness. Oh, okay,
Gabriel Cisterns, and this is pretty much the dream when you have Beirut, Explorer, and Imperial Engineer, because
gotcha.
it makes such a great turn 3 play. Um, I did used to run the Faeria tree and the Architect, like the Architect to buff the tree and to trigger it quickly, but it just didn't really work out well, and I had to cut it to make this deck.
So in one turn, you can basically, if it works out right, you can play Beirut and then play Engineer if you have 11 Faria on the same turn and basically nuke the opponent's land into lakes.
Yes, and it's so much fun unless you play against blue.
All right, because I just transform you, all right.
So yeah. Plus you make his lands into lakes, which doesn't really hurt them.
So yeah, it looks like he's doing some kind of burn control type deck or the Blood Singers, and I'm sure he has Cypher's Wrath and things like that, Ground Shakers. Okay, I've got it. I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that this game wasn't casted, so I had to ask you to join me and do a little.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Oh, you have 11. Okay, so here it is. So 8. Oh my gosh, this is. I never thought of this. I never thought. I've never seen anybody think of that before. I mean, maybe someone has, but I shouldn't have it. All right, so there goes his mountains. He's done. He's now a blue deck.
I
So
was
he has to do
laughing
that.
so much right now. I mean, I had so much fun. So this is a recording, by the way, for everyone watching from the qualifiers. So we're playing against Cube's number one deck. So this is perhaps his strongest deck. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, the fact that I managed to pull this off in a like serious game just made me so happy.
It's the deck he chose. He thought would be the most versatile, the most reliable.
Yeah,
To take as his main deck. Okay, so you got an 8 and 9 he has to deal with as red. That's the big problem. Let alone the fact that you can turn all of the stuff into lakes pretty much whenever you want. But the fact that he has to deal with 10 health is a big deal for him.
yeah, and I mean, you Atmos, you've been around for a while, but a lot of people are joining Feria now and don't really know so much about the history. But basically, I usually like to look at cards that no one ever play and try to make them work. And I'm just happy that at least for one game I made this Imperial Engineer work.
If it works one time out of 10, then it's worth it. It feels good enough to do.
Yeah, I have been having some success with this also on the ladder and in unranked. I managed to beat Dan also, Dan Felder with it. It also feels really good.
Yeah, then it must be pretty good. It's great because it's already forcing him. Now we're assuming he's monocolor. If he was dual color, he'd be even more screwed.
Yeah.
But you're basically forcing him to make special lands where otherwise he'd probably want to go basics, and you're just slowing him down
It's doing
just
a
like
good
that.
job though, blocking off so I cannot convert his mountains, which was a
Hmm.
little bit unfortunate. I wanted to make all of his lands into lakes, but
And the cool thing about it is that every land you turn of his into a lake, he can't change ever, and he doesn't run
exactly.
blue. So you're basically you're disabling all of those lands unless he has neutral cards, which I guess he might have one or two of those.
Yeah, usually the red control lists are quite stacked with the red cards, so I'm not sure if he's running any neutrals. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I mean, at this point, even though it doesn't necessarily mean I'm winning this game, it already felt like a win to me. I was just so
that's that's
happy.
sometimes your win condition is not winning the game; it's just to get your combo off, and you did it. Um, So your Day of the Dragons, though, I'm wondering, like, so you have Day of the Dragons in the deck, but it doesn't seem to really. Is that just in there just for late game extra fun, or what's
Well,
the idea?
um, I have this combo in mind. I only got it off twice so far, but basically, since I'm running Magda, and
Uh-huh.
I have three cisterns, the structures that produce you tons of Faeria, and
Okay.
I have the Imperial Engineers to trigger them quickly. But basically, with Magda, I reduced the cost of Day of the Dragons to 10. And this is not really an aggressive deck. I just went aggressive here because I had the Beiro in my hand.
Hmm.
Usually I try to stay back, stack some Faeria.
Hmm.
And with Day of the Dragons reduced to 10, if I play it, then already the dragons will cost only 4 each, assuming Magda survives. So, and with the cisterns, if I just manage to draw them, my Faeria is usually quite high. So, and then
I see.
dropping a dragon all randomly, it's just so much fun.
Now, here's when you get the 6 cost dragons after casting Day of the Dragons, how does Magda interact with that? What are the costs end up being?
They will cost 4 as long as Magda
Okay.
survives, because Magda has this effect saying
Mhm.
reduce the cost of all
Uh,
legendary cards by 2.
that's what I thought would happen, but I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone do it before. So, um, I think what's also really cool is how great your deck is against this red deck because you have such high health stuff that they have to deal with, and he has
Yeah.
no choice but to just trade poorly again and again.
Yeah, what we don't see it is that I also have over 30 heals, like 30
Mhm.
points of heals in the deck, if you count Runin's Shrine as a heal.
So there's your first cistern. I mean, I guess, yeah, you can't play it because you got an enchantment. Well, I guess you could play it.
I don't really remember what I'm doing here, but I think I'm maybe just looking for another engineer or Magda or something. Unfortunately, in this game, or I shouldn't spoil it yet, the game is. It was just fun.
Going for the
And
face. I like going for the face there. You got nothing to worry about against red.
yeah, and going face is my style also, if you've seen my
Mm.
stream.
Yes, it's a good style. I approve.
um, and it was so fun also because I was talking to MrCubez during the games and between the games.
Mhm.
He was just like, "What?" when I saw the Beiro and engineer.
Now, so I already know that you won this game, but what did he choose to beat the deck with? Because I know you lost the match as well. So what did he switch to after this?
He took a mono blue, so Beirut obviously
Uh,
doesn't do too well against that.
mhm.
But yeah, it was really one-sided. He absolutely crushed me, and I had actually been struggling against blue with any deck really that I've been playing.
Mhm.
So, but I talked to Nightingale after the tournament. I was a little bit frustrated about playing ranked, so he gave me some advice.
Mhm.
And after that, I actually managed to climb into God rank yesterday evening from rank 3, not losing a single game after that
Ooh,
little deck he gave me.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was a great day yesterday.
So what are you sitting at now in God rank?
20 something,
All right.
24, 25, something like that.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't.
here's sorry to interrupt. Here's your Magda.
Yeah, so just need a little bit more fair. It's a quite an expensive combo to get out if you have to play Magda from hand. If you already have Magda on the board, it's not so bad actually, but having to play Magda as well. I mean, Day of the Dragons is considered a really, really terrible card usually. But with the cost reduction of Magda, I mean,
I think it's not too bad a card, but I think that you have to be in another control matchup. Like your opponent has to be control for you to ever be able to use it. So like that's why a lot of people don't buy because
yeah,
it's like not as versatile against aggro at all. Like you would never play it against an
no,
aggressive.
exactly. But getting up to 14 Faeria in a control matchup is not unreasonable at all.
Mhm.
Especially when you run these structures that help you with that. But yeah, that is assuming Magda is out. Otherwise, you need 18 Faeria, which is a little bit on the high end.
So he has to kill or stop your Verdant Force this turn, or he loses the game because you just hit face.
Yeah. And he has already used a lot of his high damage removal spells, and he cannot. Well, I guess he could use a.
Okay, Fireball will not do it. He needs two more. Okay, Flame Burst.
Alright, so that didn't work out. But
Okay, got it. Just a casual to room. Big
yeah,
deal.
not exactly what I wanted. Actually, it's really cool, but can't play it yet. Otherwise, obviously I would. But I was really lucky this game, finding all the top decks all the time. So here I get the Gabriel enchantment right when I need it.
You could have, if you wanted to be greedy, you could have played Day of the Dragons that turn.
I don't
Because you're at
like
9.
though to play something when if I cannot use the card that I get right after it. I mean, then it would be better to just pass, I think.
Yeah, fair point, because now you have lethal set up, so... Oh, and there goes a Magda.
And GG.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
So
All
it
right.
was a pretty short game.
Yeah, I just like like, I agree with that. I just like the concept that Imperial Engineer, like, had a big effect on that game. Like, the early game was dictated by a card that people rarely use. I mean, Barrow, you see Barrow.
Yeah,
Uh,
Beirut is pretty
mhm.
not common maybe, but absolutely not uncommon. It's a very powerful card.
And Magda, you don't really see in competitive decks. If you pick her in Pandora, that's great, but
Yeah.
you don't really see a lot of people run her. So those are my two favorite cards in this deck, and it's cool that it worked, especially in a competitive form, especially against MrCubez too, because he's really competitive and a good player. So
Yeah, but to be fair, I was really lucky with my draws that entire game, and my opening hand was pretty much perfect. So
Mhm.
I don't know how like viable this deck actually is. I don't really think it's any good, but it's really fun to play, and that's something that I've been looking forward to do for a while now. Have some fun when I
I
play.
I honestly think, yeah, I mean, you could easily take this deck on the ladder and take some games off people. You know, if you run into aggression, it's going to be a little tough, but
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I've been winning a few games, especially against burn decks. Burn decks, they just don't kill me because I got my healers, got my shrines, Gaia's Grace. This Runin's command was actually an architect, but I felt like the architect just didn't work. The
It might
architect
be
was,
too far of a stretch. Yeah.
yeah,
It's really cool with like the cisterns and even the shrines you got, which makes sense to put in, but going 3 color can be difficult.
yeah. And in the beginning, when I was using Faeria Tree, also that was, I mean, I had 3 of them, so that I had some architects, and then I didn't have the Day of the Dragons, and that
Mm.
just ended up some games me sitting with like 30, 40 Faeria, playing Sturdy Shells, and Enchantress. I mean, I needed to add something to make use of that Faeria, but now I
I,
don't gain as much, obviously.
I'm a big fan of the new Gabriel enchantment. I've always loved Gabriel enchantment decks, but I like how the decks are so much more viable now, green blue. Not specifically for Apex Predator popular, but I just love the Gabriel enchantment interaction because there's a lot of green creatures that are high health and no attack, and then
Yeah.
the synergy is clearly designed in the game, but I think they're just fun decks to play. Like
Yeah.
regardless of the Imperial Engineer Magda stuff, which is fun in the Day of the Dragons. The rest of the deck is a solid Gabriel deck that works.
Yeah, I mean, these green and blue cards, apart from maybe the cisterns, they're pretty
Yeah,
standard stuff.
Mhm.
And also the Grace is considered a pretty bad card by most players.
Yeah. I don't see that one very often.
Runin's Command is just strictly better most of the times. But
Mhm.
I like to use cards that people don't use.
Yeah, and there's some Gabriel synergy in there as well.
Yes, absolutely. And the heal is good, and then you can get the heal and the bonus life on the creatures both at once.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So thank you, Atmaz, for joining. And
Well, thank you very much for first of all recording it and then saving it to share with just me. Like, have you shown this to anyone before? I feel very special that I got to see.
No, I have not shown it, but now
All right.
we were streaming just now, so I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We have 10 viewers.
Yeah, but I just thanks for for saving that for me because that's awesome. I love seeing. I mean, who doesn't love seeing weird things win games, especially in important tournaments? So, yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm gonna put it up on YouTube. I hope you don't mind.
Absolutely not. Go right ahead.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your night. It's nighttime for you, right?
It's like 9:15. My daughter just fell asleep, so now the day actually begins for me. Now I can finally play a little bit of games.
Okay. All right, man. Well, you have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you later.
All right. Good night.
Yep. Bye.
All right. So thank you guys for watching. If you are new to Faeria, check out faeriacoaching.com, and if you go to the official Faeria boards, go to faeria.com, click your ways to the forums. You can find a guide I wrote about how to improve at Faeria. It's been pretty popular. People like it. I think it can help you. All right. Thank you. Good night.